Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 7th round of the 1970 season, the British Grand Prix. It was held on the 18th of July. It had 25 entries, 22 of them took part in the race with 13 ending up retiring. The race was held over 80 laps, completed in 1 hour, 57 minutes and 02 seconds. Hockenheimring started the race from pole with Brabham in second. X was third on the grid, but retired on lap 6 with a transmission problem. Oliver started 4th, but retired on lap 54 with an engine failure. Holm was 5th on the grid and Regazzoni started the race from 6th. After a sensational drive, Rindt crossed the line to win the British Grand Prix from Brabham, who crossed the line 32.9 seconds after Rindt. Holm climbed up from 5th into 3rd. He was 54.4 seconds behind. Regazzoni went from 6th into 4th. He was 54.8 seconds behind. Eamon climbed from 17th into 5th, he was 1 lap down, and Hill, who started the race from 22nd, rounded off the top 6, he was also 1 lap down. The fastest man of the race was Brabham, who posted a time of 1 minute 25.9 seconds on lap 70. Welcome to the magnificent Brands Hatch circuit, where a lap starts off with a short sprint into turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend, a medium speed right-hander. This leads into Druids, a tight right-hand hairpin, followed almost immediately by Bottom Bend, a medium speed left-hander. Next up is South Bank, another medium speed left-hander that goes up the hill and onto the longest straight on the track, which ends with Hawthorne Bend, a fast right-hander. Once the tires are warmed up, this is pretty much flat out. Next up is Westfield Bend, a medium speed right-hander that takes us into Dingle Dell Corner, a medium speed right-hander, followed immediately by Sterling's, a slow to medium speed left-hander. This leads into the final corner of the track, a long fast right-hander that brings us around onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Brands Hatch circuit. And here we are in qualifying, coming around to set our first and only qualifying lap, a 1:30.824, which isn't all that good. In fact, it's very bad. That's 10 seconds slower than Jean-Pierre Beltois' pole position, but that's the best I could do, I think. I can't really remember, this was recorded a week ago, so I only had time to finish it this week. Anyway, here are the previous British Grand Prix winners. Higgs Sr. managed to win in 1969, so hopefully Oliver can do just as well. Anyway, we have Regazzoni on pole with Beltois in second, Henri Pescarolo starting from third, fourth is Ignazio Giunti, followed by Jackie X in fifth, and rounding off the top 6 is Denny Holm. Then in 7th we have Jackie Stewart, followed by Pedro Rodriguez in 8th, 9th is Hockenheimring, followed by Bruce McLaren in 10th. Then in 11th we have Rolf Stommelen, followed by Andrea De Adamic in 12th, 13th is Joe Siffert, 14th, Dan Gurney 15th, Jackie Oliver, Francois Sever 16th, 17th, Jack Brabham 18th, Ronnie Peterson, Peter Gefton starting from 19th, 20th, Chris Amon 21st, Graham Hill, John Surtees starting from 22nd, in 23rd we have John Love, followed by Emerson Fittipaldi in 24th, in 25th we have Mario Andretti, followed by John Miles in 26th, 27th is Peter Leclerc, 28th Brian Redmond, 29th George Eaton, Hubert Hunnett 30th, 31st Silvio Moser, and 32nd Oliver Higgs. So that is a grid lineup for today's British Grand Prix here at Brands Hatch. Looking forward to it. I really like this circuit. This in fact is one of my favorite British circuits, so hopefully things will go well. And we are off, and as you can see, the weather is, well, pretty typical for where we are. This is typical English weather, so not much we can do about that. The track is quite damp at the moment, but hopefully it will dry up a little bit later on as we try to make our way around Silvio Moser and Hubert Hanna, John Miles, even George Eaton. And now I'm trying to get around Peter Leclerc. Can we do that as we take another look at the start? Not much we can see from here, and we are off. A little bit slow on my end, not quite sure why. I wasn't in danger of crashing into anyone, but I think I might have been a bit too cautious there. Anyway, and I think I might have even had a little bit of wheel spin, so that that also slowed me down in the wet conditions as we come into Drades here, trying to get some positions here. And the car looks like it's halfway through the floor. Not quite sure what's going on there, but anyway, lose control of the car there somehow, as we now take a look at a bunch of replays, because yes, this is one of those races where a lot of people will retire. And I'm not quite sure what's going on, other than the fact that cars are going quite wide through here, and it seems like there is some sort of an invisible wall on the side of the track there, because I can't explain really what the cars are crashing into. It just looks like nothing there, so not quite. I'm really not sure what's happening. So yeah, invisible walls at the side of the track. Someone should really fix that. There's no reason to have invisible walls. So yeah, I mean, you can see for yourself what's going on. And the game was quite chugging at that point, since there were so many cars crashing coming into that corner. So the game was, or rather my computer was having quite a hard time calculating all of those crashes and physics and whatnot, as Bruce McLaren comes into the pits to retire. And and obviously the retirements are continuing, because that's the nature of the game. I really don't understand. This is the second race in a row we had a pretty similar situation in France, so, and it looks like things are continuing here at the British Grand Prix, so not quite sure what to say about this. Obviously I'm not very happy, because, well, the AI keeps retiring, and that doesn't really make for either good racing or good videos, so quite disappointing really, but not much I could have done, as people continue to retire. I mean, what? No, seriously, what can I say about any of this? It's weird, it's dumb, it needs to be fixed, obviously, as even more people are coming into the pits to retire. I'm not quite sure why anyone's coming into the pits, because the track is still wet, so I don't think a tire change is in order, and even if it is, I don't know why they are retiring, because the pits are working on this track, so I'm not quite sure what's happening. Anyway, people are still continuing to crash into that invisible wall as they go wide through this fast corner, Hawthorne's Bend. And now more people are coming into the pits, because that's what you do. Although at this point I guess it's kind of granted, the track was starting to get a little bit drier, so I guess it was okay, but still, for some reason the cars couldn't get back out of the pit, so they kept retiring even so. And obviously I cannot see exactly why cars couldn't come back out, because the cameras are not positioned in a very useful place to see what's going on there. And as we see John Miles there pulled to the side, and it looks like his engine is smoking, so that's, I think, the only mechanical failure during this race, as more people are coming into the pits to retire. As I speed up the footage a bit there. Oh, and okay, that's quite easy to explain why that guy retired, because he was pushed to the side, and the game kind of freaks out when the car isn't in the position it should be, and yes, even I retired because I was being a little bit dumb. As I come through a paddock hill bend, I lose control of the car and then managed to kill the engine as I lifted my foot off the clutch pedal a little bit too early, and that killed the engine. So that's the end of my race, as we take a look at a replay of Dan Gurney coming around to set the fastest lap of the race and a new track record, beating Andy Higgs's fastest lap around here, which was set back in 1964. And obviously people continue to retire. This was Gethin who crashed into my car for whatever reason. And there is Dan Gurney kind of getting stuck behind Peter Gethin. Quite funny. And it looks like Dadamich's engine kind of cut out without any rhyme or reason. And Dan Gurney also retired, it seems, with his engine on fire. And here we have I think it's Pedro Rodriguez, I'm not sure. I will find out in just a second. He's gone into the pits and he's coming around to actually win the British Grand Prix. Yes, it was indeed Pedro Rodriguez who wins the British Grand Prix. I'm not sure why he went through the pits in order to cross the finish line. That's kind of weird and dumb, but oh well, he did that. Anyway, those were the people who managed to finish. Dan Gurney actually managed to finish, although only by just a little bit, because he only just managed to complete 90% of race distance. So that was the British Grand Prix. Not a very good race for anyone. So I'm really not sure what to say about any of this. So let's just move on. And here are the career statistics. This was Oliver's 7th Grand Prix. His best start is from 23rd. Has no pole positions. Has set one fastest lap. His best finishes in first. Has completed 4 races, 2 of them in the points. Has won 1 Grand Prix, none at Monaco. Has no championships under his belt. Has scored a total of 11 points. Has retired 3 times. Has experienced 122 out of 165 laps. Has no bronze trophies, no silver trophies, 1 gold trophy, and as an extension, 1 podium. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Rodriguez is leading the championship with Hubert Hanna and Jackie Oliver sharing 2nd. Oliver Higgs is down in 4th. 5th is shared between Pierce Carriage, John Miles, and Mario Andretti. The last person with points is Jackie Stewart down in 20th. And bringing up the bottom of the driver standings is Brian Redmond down in 35th. So those are the drivers. Let's now move on to the constructors, where we have Yardley Team BRM leading the Constructors' Championship with Gold Leaf Team Lotus in 2nd, Hubert Hanna Racing 3rd, Pete Lovely Volkswagen Incorporated 4th, 5th is shared between Frank Williams Racing Cars and STP Corporation. The last team with points are Colin Crabb Racing down in 13th, and bringing up the bottom of the constructors are Owen Racing Organization down in 19th. So, once again, that was the British Grand Prix, and it really wasn't a very good race, either for Oliver or Volkswagen, or really anyone else except for Yardley and Pedro Rodriguez, who were the only people who actually crossed the finish line and completed the entire race. Dan Gurney got really close as he retired on lap 25, which meant he did complete 90% of race distance, but he still retired in the end. So yeah. Hopefully this is not a trend that's going to continue throughout the rest of the season. I would really like to see drivers finishing races instead of retiring like crazy. Anyway, our next race is the German Grand Prix, and this time we will not be going to the Nordschleife. Instead, we will be going to a new circuit, the Hockenheimring, which I'm really excited about. This was the first time anyone raced on the Hockenheimring, at least in terms of a championship race. There were a couple of non-championship races held there previously, but this is going to be the first championship race, so looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that it's going to be fun, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for this video. I don't really know what else to say about this. I mean, you saw what happened. People crashing mostly into invisible walls, which shouldn't even be there, but oh well. I'm guessing the track designer had his reasons for putting invisible walls at the side of the track, although I can't really see what that reason could be. It's really, really weird. But yeah, once again, that is the end of this video. Don't forget to vote for next season's team. Link, as always, is down in the description. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.